You're listening to Darling Shine, a podcast by Ellidy and myself, Chloe Fisher.
Join us as we blindly navigate and unpack the raw and often unspoken experiences of womanhood, grief, friendship, and everything in between.
Darling Shine is your survival kit to the unexpected shit life throws at you.
Hello, darlings. Welcome and thank you for listening to our first episode.
Oh my God, if you guys could only see us, we're sitting here like fully straight back with like the biggest smiles on our faces.
When are we going to get more relaxed? I'm
We're
so
a little
nervous.
bit red. You're a little bit red.
I'm nervous.
I know, and you're shaking.
Don't
Just
be
pipe
rude.
down. Calm down.
You've got a rash on your chest, doll.
Okay, anyway, we don't. So
we do, mate. So yeah, thanks for finding us. Lots of people were like, where can we find you? And we were like, settle down, we're not live yet. So we're live today. Woo!
So just so you guys get to know our voices, because you'll be hearing it a lot. My name is Chloe.
And I am Ellidy.
Oh my God,
Get used to my...
we just said that?
Yeah,
Paul said to us the other day,
Why
he
so
goes,
lame?
why do when you talk you always like sing it in a song? He's like, my name is Chloe. My name is Ellidy.
He's like, you guys need to stop pretending you're in a musical when you do stories and shit, because you're always singing at the end.
We need to do that.
Yeah, so we're going to try not to sing at all when we set. Definitely no singing.
No singing. So we wanted to do our first episode, a bit of a get to know us. A lot of you guys have written in some questions for us that we hopefully cover in this episode. So I'm going to go first, and I am going to go through my childhood, my school life, my career, my love life, and sort of where I'm at now. And
yes, so am I guess, up until where I'm at now. And basically, the idea behind Darling Shine is obviously Chloe and I thought it would be really important to talk about our journeys. We've both been through a lot. There will be triggering topics here and there throughout our podcast, things about trauma, mental health, grief,
miscarriage,
women's fertility, everything, womanhood, grief, friendship. I mean, there's going to be we're going to be having lots of fun as well as getting into the hard stuff. We just want to be your survival kits, basically, to
the shit life throws at you.
Exactly, darling.
But we are so excited to be here, and we're really glad that you guys found us. So let's go. So I was born and bred in North Narrabeen, and I had 3 absolutely amazing siblings. We were all about 2 years apart. So there was Cooper, who's 27, then Olivia, who's 23, and baby Chapman, Sophia, who is 20 years old. Look, growing up with these guys was absolutely nothing but amazing. We all got along so well. We very much loved each other then and still do now. And then there's Mum, Al and Dave. These 2 also made childhood a dream for us. Dad's obviously the soft one. He just got everything. We could kind of go to Dad if we needed anything. Not that we couldn't go to Mum, but Mum was basically the most amazing cook. She used to be famous for her roasts, and there was never a night, I don't think, that our family dinner table was completely chock-a-block. Like we used to have 10 at night every night.
Poor Dave at the end of the table would just be like, everyone shut up.
I know, the banter was unreal, but definitely living up here on the Gold Coast, I for sure miss Mum's cooking, but she's up here a lot, so there's not too much to miss.
Yeah, Al's always here. Love you, Al.
Yes, love you, Mum. So I went to Narrabeen North Public School, and then I went to Narrabeen Sports High. So I was never really sporty, so sending me to a sports high was a bit weird.
Yeah, what was with that?
I did dance, and they had like the dance programs. So I did a bit of dancing. So skip a few years. Are
you going to mention this?
Skip a few years, and in nine, I got dacked.
Double dacked.
No, I didn't get double dacked, but I had bright red undies on by one of the boys. I'm not going to mention his name because that's a bit mean.
No, it's funny.
So that was stunning for me. So that day I bailed home, and I really never went back properly since. I remember running home from school, calling Mum, going, just if the teachers call you and asking you where I am, I'm at home because I've been dacked. What a fucking pussy. Anyway, following this, I went to Marta Maria, which is where Ellidy went. So I thoroughly enjoyed school, but I was a bit of a nerd during our school time, so I was bit of a goody two-shoes. I never really got up to too much mischief, which is a bit boring. But
no, I wish I was a nerd. Me and you were never in the same classes. You were always in the advanced ones.
Yeah, because I was
just
smart.
We were,
Anyway.
yeah.
Well, anyway, so growing up, Mum and Dad were pretty strict on us, but we were allowed to go and do what we wanted to. But when it came to parties and stuff, Mum would always drop me and pick me up. It was actually pretty funny. At our year 12 formal after party, she literally freaking dropped us there and then sat in the car up the street with Neil McGaw. Like Ellie's dad. They were like, we're not going home. They just might get up to
Just
miss
spying
it. Like
on you guys.
they weren't spying, but they were just like waiting for a time to be picked up. It's like, just fucking go home.
Oh my God, my mum.
Anyway, so they got sprung doing that. But looking back, honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. Sometimes, like, I think that the way that Mum brought us up obviously has shaped me into the person I am today, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful that she didn't, and Mum and Dad didn't like let me go like fucking wild.
Absolutely
and
rogue.
Yeah, I wasn't a rogue kid. But the only thing that my 29-year-old self would tell my teenage self would be to grow a set of balls. I just wish I rebelled.
I can tell you that every day, Joel.
I know. I just wish I was a bit naughty. Like, I know this sounds super lame, but I actually don't think I snuck out once in my childhood.
Alison would have been onto it.
Yeah, but without blowing smoke up my own ass, I was actually a freaking angel. I really was an angel. Like, Mum had
You
it so
really
good.
were.
Like,
Yeah.
lucky her. And all 4 of our siblings, I'm not even kidding, were like the same as me. So
Wow.
it's weird. Imagine.
I
I think about that. Like, I hope one day when I have kids, look, I hope that they're a little bit naughty. Like, if they're anything like their dad, they're going to be
They're going to be hectic. Good luck, doll.
but,
I didn't have to sneak out. I just walked out the front door. Dad would be like, where are you going at 10 p.m? I was like 15. I'd be like, oh, yeah, be back soon. He'd just be like, yeah, roger that.
Oh, yeah, I did not do
He
that.
didn't know what was going on.
But yeah, I want to think that with a father like Paul, that gene definitely overrides my nerdy angel gene.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so bad, doll.
let's hope they take after me. But anyway. So during our high school years, I dated a boy for almost 4 or 5 years, I think from the age of 16 to 20. And from there, I met Paul very soon after on a holiday in Bali.
Hold the phone. We need to reverse. That was funny. So Chloe and I, so I'm just going to pipe up and be annoying. Chloe and I used to date these guys that were friends. And do you remember that time we were in Bali together? And they were like surfing. We went
all the way to Nusa Lombok, and I actually remember this. And the boys like, yeah, we're going to go surf whatever the fucking waves.
And they left us on this boat, and we were like bored shitless on the boat. So we saw this like better boat like across the way, and there was like a whole bunch of guys on the boat, and they were like, come over here. And it looked like so fun over there. Did they have like slides or some shit coming off their boat?
They're like, come over, like we'll take photos of you guys jumping off that boat.
We need to get that photo up.
It's actually one of the best photos ever.
God. Okay, and then we're like literally.
We could see the boys in the lineup and looking at us on this other boat.
They were absolutely blowing up.
Going like with their arms in the air, going like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like, I'm like, it's fine, you know, don't just surf. Wow.
No, we were just jumping off this boat, having the best time, and the boys came back. I don't think they spoke to us for like
No,
a
they didn't
day.
speak to us the whole way back.
It was
pretty
actually
funny.
epic. We've just... That was so funny. They served a good purpose. That was a big fat lol.
Yes, we have lots of fun memories together from a very young age, from high school to boys to everything else. But so, yeah, let's talk about my career, because a lot of you guys are very concerned about what I do for a job. I do work.
Influencer!
Shut up! I'm not a fucking influencer. I hate that word. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's not an influencer.
But hold on, no. Those chicks are making a difference in the world. They are doing good.
Okay.
We can't, no.
Let me just talk about what I did when I was a kid, not now. So basically from a young age, my parents always encouraged me to work hard. With that in mind, my mum literally signed a piece of paper so I could work illegally, I'm pretty sure, from the age of 13, and I landed my first job at Baker's Delight. So at Baker's Delight, you're allowed to bring home whatever you wanted at the end of the day. Because I had to throw it all out. They couldn't just give it away. So I think on my first shift, my mum went to pick me up and I literally wheeled out a whole trolley full of bread rolls and finger buns and custard scrolls or whatever. I don't know what the hell my mum thought what I thought that we were going to do with all that bread for one day when I was actually just going to be working the next day anyway. But yeah, all the boys were frothing at school the next day because I just brought it literally was jammed full of bread and finger buns. But it just made no sense because I would work the next day anyway. But yeah, so the boys loved that because I used to bring them all to school. But I'm going to try and find that photo because it's actually hilarious. I'm so small. My uniform, I swear the apron comes down to my shins.
I can imagine.
And then all these bags of shopping of bread, literally.
You have to get that photo up.
But yeah, so I was definitely poppy with the boys the next day. From there, I worked at a juice shop and then followed by Woolies. I think that every kid in their teenage years worked at Woolies. Elle and I worked there together with another bunch of...
Woolworths or Boost or Baker's Delight.
Yeah.
Every kid had a little
it was
go
just
at each one.
The circuit. So yeah, we did that together. Check out chicks.
Oh my God, what about when you'd be on we were on the express checkout and it was always you, me, Maddie Ossington, Emma, Ben Dunsmore. And when someone would come through with a tampon or a pregnancy test, we would just fucking lose.
You'd instantly judge someone. You'd be like, oh wow, they had sex.
Yeah, we would absolutely lose our shit. I would not be able to stop laughing. I was so immature. We were 14.
I know. It's weird. It's looking back on that
it's
now.
Weird looking back on that now because 14-year-olds these days are getting the pregnancy test and shit.
Oh, let's hope not.
I don't know.
Anyway, so from after high school, I went on and I studied events management with my friend Corey. We went to TAFE. So I finished up with a diploma in events because I thought I wanted to be an events manager clearly, but I didn't do that.
You'd be so good at that. I feel like that's really helped
I
you.
use that a lot. I'm the biggest planner ever. Everything I'm a crazy Excel spreadsheet nerd. I fucking love that shit. So from there, I decided to be a flight attendant. And so I got into ground school and I completed my work with Jetstar and I travelled domestically with Jetstar. I had my wings from I think about 2009 till 2011.
Oh, you sound like a pilot doll.
Well, I wouldn't call myself a pilot, no.
Your little wings.
Just serve people coffees and shit. And then I did that, for about 2 years and I ended up dislocating my shoulder at work lifting a heavy box and so I couldn't work for a few months and then I ended up just going, okay, maybe this isn't my time. I'm going to move on to something else. And then I landed myself a job in advertising and I worked at then ACP magazines on Park Street in Sydney. And I dressed up in heels every single day. I frolicked around the city thinking I was king shit.
I thought you were so fancy.
Oh my God, I loved it. It was so cool. It was really, really cool.
Holy shit, she's like the manager of she's like the CEO. It was
basically
major for the age to have that job.
So yeah, I basically worked there for a few years and I had a few big clients. I got to travel around Australia on events. I worked in key accounts, so that was really fun. And then that was all well and good. I worked my way up the corporate ladder a little bit until I took a holiday to Bali with my friend Renee and Tash and landed on the lap of Paul Fisher.
At Alley Cats.
At Alley Cats in Poppy's Lane.
If
you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
It's where all the catches hang, Wow. So that was love at first sight, literally. Basically, I picked him up. He was sitting there eating meatballs. I think he was on a boys' trip, so they just had massive nights, I guess, and he wasn't drinking that night. It was just, and then I did see him, and I was like, oh, that guy's kind of cute, and I knew a guy, some of the guys that he was with, and one of them was Jesse Pollock. Oh. Shout out to Jesse. So I actually went over to speak to Jesse. I was just like, oh, hey, I was like, oh, who's your friend? And then literally 5 seconds later, I was on Paul's lap.
Stop it.
And then we're on the Cuda surfboard, followed by the Bounty, and fuck, the rest is history. So that was literally your textbook holiday romance. It was, I don't know how we thought we was going to work because he lived in America, I lived in Australia, and it just was not possible. So we went our separate ways, but we literally talked every single day on Skype. And that was in the June. And then I turned 21 in the August. And then at the end of the year, he went to Hawaii where the big surfing competitions are, because he was sponsored by Reef Footwear at the time for surfing. And this one day he told me, he's like, I'm going pig hunting for a few days, so I probably won't be able to speak to you. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, pig hunting.
Yeah, pig hunting. I don't know. I fucking believed it. Yeah. So then the next minute I know he had asked my brother, asked my brother in the surf earlier that week what my address was so he could send me flowers for Christmas. And then so next minute he literally has jumped on a flight. He got to the airport and my brother's girlfriend at the time, Erica, was at the airport and she goes, what are you doing? And he goes, don't say a word. Like, I'm fucking going to Australia to surprise Chloe. And she's like, okay. God. So shout out to Erica for like keeping tight-lipped. So Erica's, he's come like all the way home, gotten on the flight, got back to Australia, and Erica's like at the other end like, so how are you getting to like Narrabeen? And he was like, oh fuck, how are you getting to Narrabeen? And Erica's dad like had like a little convertible, I'm pretty sure, like this little car. And she's like, dude, your boards are not going to fit on the fucking roof of this car. No. And apparently Erica's dad got there and he was just like, this is not happening. And Paul's like, yeah, it's happening. So it happened. It happened. And so Erica and the dad dropped Paul at my house. And so mum and dad didn't really know who Paul was. And he's just rocked up at my doorstep and my mum's like, hi. And he's like, hey, I'm Paul. Like, where's Chloe? And she's like, well, he's at work. She's at work. It was, and so.
He is smart from the get-go not telling Al.
Oh, yeah. Well, he wouldn't have known Al. Like, she didn't know who she was, really.
True. But not even Cooper.
Like, no. He's really good with secrets like that. Like, he's good at that shit.
Yeah.
So, and then my mum was calling me the whole time going, when are you coming home from work? I'm like, fuck, get off my back. Like, I'll be home when I'm home. Like, I can't rush. Like, I'm coming home from the city. And I was like, and by the way, I'm going to Laura's anyway. Like Laura's, I'm going to dinner with Laura. And so I'm calling Laura. I'm like, I'm running late. Can you be ready? Like, I'll honk you when I'm out the front.
Oh my God.
So Laura's like, no, I'm not really ready yet. Like, I'm going to need, my mum called Laura at this point, was like, what the fuck do I do with this guy at my house? I need you to help me. So mum brought Paul down to Laura and my mum are friends. So that was where they kind of hung. So yeah, Laura's going, you need to come in because like I'm not ready. I'm like, man, I'm so late. Like, how are you not ready? Anyway, so I've walked in and Laura's like on her computer and I've like walked in. I'm like, what are you doing? And the next minute I know Paul is like taps me on the shoulder. I was like, oh my God. It really was the cutest thing ever. I have a video of it and I will post it on the Instagram. It's so fucking cute. And we've basically been together dead set ever since then. So I guess like fast forward 4 months, I think, to the following March, I literally quit my job, packed my bags, got on a one-way flight to America, and I was 21. I think Paul was about 27. So there we lived a slow life in Oceanside in California, and Paul was a sponsored surfer, like I said, with Reef. And then one day his contract just got, like, what do you call it? He lost his contract with Reef, and we were like, oh, okay, well, we both have got fucking $0. This is epic. And it was then when Paul got into DJing and sort of made that a career, and he started off as a duo called Cut Snake. And I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, this is all very well that I live here, but I need to do something with my life. And it was then I started my swimwear label. And I had no experience in that, obviously. It's called Aloe Swimwear, and it's still around today. I literally started, I borrowed $2,000 off Paul, and I borrowed, I think, $2,000 or $3,000 off my grandparents. And that's what I started with. And yeah, I worked on the road doing that for 7 years until I sold it at the end of 2019. It was just because I could not keep up with it while I was on the road. I was obviously running a business on the road with Paul. All of my stock was in Sydney, in Narrabeen. My mum and my sisters used to do all my shipping, which was just like a punish. And then designing and going back and forth to Bali. It was just like all too much to sort of do. So then, I sold it to a beautiful girl called Kate, and she still owns it today. It's an amazing swimwear line. So shout out to her. Hello-y. It's all reversible. It's epic. I still so love. Yeah. So you girls should have a look at that. Paul then decided to split off as a duo and go into DJing as a solo artist. And then it was then he played Losing It for the first time in the Do Lab at Coachella, and that was the day that basically our lives have changed, and it's been a whirlwind ever since. It's been amazing. We've been lucky to travel pretty much the world together for the last 5 years, between California, Europe, Australia, Ibiza, and we're very
Stunning.
But yeah, we feel very blessed to live the life we did, and we don't really take any days for granted. We love what we do, but now we're a bit stuck now because of COVID.
We're a bit stuck. Well, Paul's not stuck. He's
Paul's
ruffling.
over in America at the moment. I'm here in Oz, so it's definitely ruffled our feathers a little bit, but here we are. But just quickly, I know I've been talking for a little bit now, but after selling a Lowy, I then started working full-time on all Paul's merchandise. So I do all the merchandise for Fisher, and then we've just launched our new label called Car. So I do all of that, all the production, all the merchandise, all the social media, and then I do a bit of social media work on the side. I'm not an influencer.
She's a busy boy.
I'm a busy boy. So... Yeah, but, although it does look like I'm having fun all the time, which a lot of you guys all say, we both look like we're having fun. We do work very hard. I do carve out my days Monday to Friday, and I do work, and then I play on the weekends.
That balance here at Darling Shine.
Yes. And then the best day, we got married in Feb last year. It was the most beautiful fairy tale wedding. It was at the Lawn in Bali. We had 170 of our closest friends from all over the world. It was literally our last hurrah before COVID hit the following week. We bought our first home on the Gold Coast around that time, and we've literally lived here permanently through this crazy ride with Paul having over a year of work due to travel restrictions. And in amongst all this, we lost a baby, we lost a best friend. The last 3 months have been an absolute fucking blur, to say the least. But we're very, very lucky to have each other.
We're lucky to have each other, and we are somehow still standing.
Yeah, I don't know.
What the fuck?
And we're here to do this podcast for you.
And here we are. Welcome.
Okay, that is well enough about me. Ellidy, we'd like to hear a little bit about you now.
Thanks, sis. Okay, guys, I'm Ellidy. I am 29. I grew up primarily on Sydney's northern beaches with my brother Dave, who is 2 years older than me. He literally kicked the shit out of me growing up, which is why I'm a tough bitch. You pretty much cuddle Chloe and she like snaps in half. She's like, ow.
That happens daily.
Whereas you could probably throw me off a balcony and I'd just like stand up and be like, oh, what happened? So my dad is 100% Dutch. He lived over there till he was like about 6 before coming to Australia. Yeah, he like learned how to speak English like when he was 6.
Really?
Yeah.
Clever.
Yes. And then mum's half Greek, and everyone thinks my bro and I are adopted because mum's got like black hair and super dark features, and me and my bro came out like these little blonde surfer groms. Mum was pretty off it. Anyway, the stunning couple couldn't keep their shit together and they divorced when I was about 2 years old. Love that for us. My mum moved us all around Sydney, Lane Cove, Mossman, Balgala until I was about 8. And then we moved full-time back to the Northern Beaches. And then Rips, brother,
yes, 2101.
Represent. Dad never moved from our base in Warriewood. We spent every second weekend with him growing up until we reached about 15. And then we were like, nah, I think we're going to stay where we want. So I think that's what happens to like heaps of divorced kids. Their parents like make them do shit and then they get to like a certain age and they're like, I'm going to fucking stay where I want to stay. So shout out to all the people growing up with divorced parents, getting like 2 Christmases, 2 lots of presents and stuff. I kind of loved it. Kind of sick. So my dad's still there in our Warriewood home where we grew up, and the place has literally not changed a bit since I was born. My brother's ex-girlfriend did yoga. Like, I'm dead set. She used to do yoga in our hallway. She used to get like a little yoga mat and put it down in our hallway and do yoga. And like, they've been broken up for like 3 or 4 years and the fucking yoga mat is literally there. It just stays in the hallway. My dad doesn't move shit.
On the floor or rolled up?
Yes, on the floor. I think it's a mat now on the floor.
Shut up.
I'm fucking not kidding.
Please take a photo of that next time you're there and show the people.
I literally need to. What I want to do is next time I go back down there is like drink a tea and then put like a mug
let's play some
somewhere
games.
And like film it and be like, I wonder if this is going to be here in like 3 months when I come back, because like I dead set promise you it fucking will be sitting in the same spot.
Brilliant.
Like nothing gets moved. It's hilarious. And when shit does get moved, like if you clean things up, Dad's like, what you've been touching my stuff? What's all this space? And it's like, we're just trying to declutter. Dad's an absolute lol, love him. So I had a pretty epic childhood. I kind of loved the divorced parent vibes, as I was saying. Especially when me and my brother would stay at my dad's house because it was right near the beach and there was like 100 kids in my street and we would just run an absolute muck. We would play like knock and run and go pool jumping all night long. So much fun. And then throughout high school days, Dad literally had no clue what was going on or like what kind of rules he was meant to instill. So we would just go absolutely rogue and party all weekend. And then at the end of the weekend we'd be like, oh my God, Dad, it was so good to see you. Poor
Dad.
No. But he kind of loved it. He just like saw us like frothing and just being so happy and he was like, I think he just loved it. Like he's not like a clingy dad, you know? Like
he's so cute.
He's so cute. I fucking love him though. But no. We got heaps of fun holiday. Like he used to take us away on epic road trips all the time. We'd bring like 10 friends, but he absolutely loved it.
Never saw him once, but
nah, he loved it.
fed us roadkill.
And then, and then after our weekends at Dad's, we'd head back to our jail cells at Mum's house for about 2 weeks before doing it all again. Mum was seriously so cute. She just had a lot of pressure, bringing us both up, supporting us all by herself, working full-time, having us pretty much full-time as well. So, yeah, shout out to Mum because she honestly did the best job. And also, fun fact, Mum was a cop. You knew that, right? She was a cop for 21 years.
Yes.
And so was my dad, which you would never believe. They were both cops because they are so different. But, yes, they were both cops for, like, ever. That's actually how they met.
How did you get away with sneaking out with your dad if he was a cop?
Oh, he was a loose cop. He was a rogue cop. No, he wasn't. Oh, my God, he wasn't. He was a really good cop, but he just literally was like...
Don't worry, he wasn't a cop. He was pretend cop.
Pretend cop. No, he just was so blasé and just so cool, and he just wanted to see us happy. So we'd be like, "Oi, we're going out, Dad," and he just didn't. I don't think he knew the rules that you couldn't go out until you were 18, and he'd just see us walking out the door at 15 with drinks, and he'd be like, "Okay, see ya, have fun. Don't do anything I wouldn't do." But yes, so anyway, Chloe and I went to high school together. Shout out to Marta Maria, private school girls. No, it was kind of like a Povo private school. Yes, it was more like the perfect in between public and private school scenario. Chicks would still get away with wearing really short skirts up their asses, but then we'd also pretty much get the death sentence if we took our blazers off for 1 millisecond.
How wild is that? They could make you wear a blazer. You have to wear a blazer. I don't even understand that rule.
They'd be like, "Oh, people saw you at Warwood Square yesterday afternoon and your blazer was off." So
and how's the people have the hide to fucking call the school and say that we weren't wearing a blazer?
People would take photos of us and shit and send it to the school.
Definitely wasn't taking photos of me.
Paparazzi. No, yeah, you just
I always had my blazer on. I would never take it off.
I left school and took all that shit off.
With your Supre belt around your skirt.
Black little elastic things. Does anyone remember those?
You'd wear them that low that you'd only see 5 centimeters of the skirt, and then it's all that black
little frilly skirt coming out the bottom. It was crook.
Fashion.
Fashion. But no, Marta Maria was epic, and the teachers there were the best. Do you remember Mr. Harris?
Yes.
And Miss J. Oh my God. Shout out to Marta Maria. If there was a Marta Maria up on the Gold Coast, that is 100% where I'd want my kids to go. It was just...
Yeah, I loved it.
Fun, co-ed vibes.
Yeah.
Best. So we had a massive group of girlfriends. Chloe and I became tight after school pretty much. We would run amok around Narrabeen with Laura and Corey and Maya. Do you remember those days?
Yes, so
Straight
good.
After school, we'd just be following Laura around to all of our comps, being little groupies.
There's that one photo of us when she was did the World Juniors at Narrabeen, and we made that big sign.
And we made
cute.
the front page of the paper or some shit.
Yes, that's where it all began.
No, and then we pretty much lived at Laura's. We'd do the spa nights. We'd sneak in drinks. Sarah
hooked
did
up
not
with
care
our first boys in the spa.
Yeah, so fun. And then so Chloe said, we worked at Woolworths Narrabeen together. Same as Chloe, I also worked from a really young age. Yeah, I worked at cafes, Woolworths, Rip Curl. Remember we worked at Rip Curl together?
I forgot that.
I worked at heaps of other retail stores.
Rip Curl, Narrabeen, and Manly.
Yep. And then I left school.
We did a lot.
We did a lot. Remember, I did a nursing diploma. I did my endorsed enrolled nursing, worked in different mental hospitals, and then on an orthopedic ward in a hospital. It was hectic. And then I decided I wanted to become a teacher. I actually did 1 year of primary school teaching, got sick of that because kids are fucking annoying. And then, well, if they're not yours, I reckon it's just get punished. Shout out to all of our, like, half of our friends are primary school teachers. Wow. And then I did a business degree. I was like, was one of those people that started uni and was like, I can't just stop and then just like not do. Like I was like adamant I was going to finish a degree.
I completely forgot that you did that.
Darling.
It really amazes me that you have a degree, but
I don't use it.
You don't use any of that.
I didn't learn anything.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I tell you what, if you want to go into the corporate world, it's not fucking necessary to have a degree. They don't teach you shit. Seriously, if you want to become a lawyer, you obviously need a law degree or a doctor or a nurse.
Don't go and do business and communications.
Business, communications, marketing, mate. You learn that shit on the job. It's a waste of
time.
Awkward for all the people listening that are like midway through their commerce degree. They're going to be like, Ellidy, you fucking bitch.
No, but I can't believe you did a commerce degree because you've done zero of that. Like, especially when setting up Darling Shine, I'm like, this is your job. And you're like, yeah, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, and then you're like, well, I've got a commerce degree. What the fuck did you learn?
Have fun setting that up, doll. Thank you. Yes. So I actually did work in an office for many, many years, but
an office of which you didn't know what they did.
I really didn't use my degree at all. Anyways. So fast forward to when life truly began.
I don't know.
So a few months after Chloe met Fish, I actually met Alex Chumpy Pullen, the biggest legend in this entire world. If you met him, you were honestly touched by a fucking angel, son, so you should count your lucky stars. He was annoyingly good at everything. It used to piss me right off. I'd be like, nah, something's seriously wrong with you. Do you have autism or something? Why are you so smart? Why are you so good at everything? Turns out he was just an absolute mad dog at everything he did. And I was just jealous because he made me look like a bloody Muppet. Britt, can you Google Muppet? What actually is that? What is a Muppet? What does a Muppet mean? What is a Muppet?
A Muppet, an incompetent or foolish person.
That is you. Incompetent and foolish person. You done.
Oh my God. I actually loved my Muppetness. Anyway, let's be real. He was an Olympic snowboarder for Australia who was our flag bearer at the 2014 Sochi Winter Olympics. He won 2 world titles and 2 world championships back to back. And just casually was a full-blown musician on the side. He released about 30 songs with his incredibly talented sister Emma. The two were like a reggae version of Angus and Julia Stone growing up. They'd busk in the streets of Mansfield, where he grew up in the country, after school to fundraise and support Chumpy's snowboarding career. Chumpy still wrote songs and played music every day while he was at home and not on tour. And you can actually find them all on Spotify at Chumpy and the Sunset of Roonies. Because his voice is so cute and it literally like saves my life every day. So we had such different upbringings. Do not mean to generalise, but I think when you grow up in the country like Chump, you're often like, okay, how the fuck do we get out of here? I think you have more drive and reach for the stars. Well, I know Chumpy certainly did. Rather than us city slickers who kind of just grew up with like, you know, shit all around us, like friends and jobs and everything, and we just found comfort in like universities and all of that. So I just flopped about after school for a little bit. I had no idea what I wanted to do or be. I always worked though, because mum made me pay rent literally the second I left school, even when I was at uni and shit. Like Chloe, I did like random modelling jobs. As I said, worked in different cafes and everything. Oh, I worked in a really good nursing home. I was so minted. I would work Christmas days and get like $60 an hour. There. It was incredible. It was so cute. I would like feed all the old people their dinner and stuff. It was the best. Yes, and then my nan got admitted into that home, and it got really sad seeing her just kind of like deteriorate. My little Oma. I used to call her Omelette. She was so cute. Dad's mum, because she was Dutch, so we'd call her Oma, and I'd be like, Omelette, here's your omelette for breakfast.
Did she love that?
So cute. I love her so much. But yeah, no, I had to leave there because it was so hard just every day, like seeing her just go so far downhill and being like stuck in this home and losing her independence and everything. So, I hope everyone's feeling very inspired by my nursing home job. From there, I did my nursing and then I did my teaching degree. Sorry, not my teaching degree because I changed to commerce, remember? And then I got a job in Sydney with this company called Bespoke Training Services. I still literally could not tell you what the fuck the company actually does, but the boss loved me and he was a freaking legend. Shout out to Trent, T-Boss. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me. So I was a full office bitch for like 7 years, and I was even able to keep my job and work remotely when I moved up to the Gold Coast 3 years ago with Chumpy. Yes, darling, I was the operations and sales coordinator for Australia and New Zealand.
Really?
Yes, doll. I was a big wig. Trent's going to listen and be like, pipe down, mate.
You're the coordinator.
You're the coordinator.
Trent, can you please write in and let me know what she really
Trent,
did?
if you're listening, back me up on this. Anyway, no, back to Chump. He was an absolute go-getter. He literally got shit done. He was a bit like you, Chloe, hey.
We always used to compare each other, like you and Paul are very similar and Chump and I were very similar.
Me and Paul are just loose and you and Chump actually just like
had our shit together, sort of.
You had your fucking shit together. You guys would always bully me. You'd like get together and just like
when Paul wasn't around, me and Chump, we just look at each other and roll our eyes every day and be like, fuck, here she goes again.
Hell, what a punish. No,
Let's
but then
lock her
me
in the
and
cupboard or
Fish
something.
get together and then rinse you.
Yeah, it's
so
heavy.
great. You don't have Chump to stand up for you
Yeah,
anymore.
I know.
Shit.
Chumpy.
Chumpy, save Chloe.
That's so true. So mean.
Yes. So we lived in Chumpy's DY apartment for 6 years before moving up to the Gold Coast 3 years ago. And then we bought our dream home. We did not build it. We're in absolute heaven living up here. We got Rummy, our dog. She's a Kelpie cross-border collie. I get asked that 100 times a day. I don't know why people have to ask. It's pretty fucking obvious she's a Kelpie. But no, she has a hint of border collie, so maybe that's why.
Special.
No, she's special. She's an absolute legend. She's actually our assistant producer here at Darling Shiner. She didn't turn up today, but anyway,
she's had a sickie.
Yeah, she's chucked a sickie today. She's literally my therapist. She gets me out of bed every single day.
She didn't show up to work today.
Yeah, look,
she's fired.
Give her a break, bro.
Yeah, she's had a rough trot.
Yeah, she's depressed.
Yes, okay. Well, you're forgiven, Rummy.
She's going through a bit, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, my brother also moved up to the Goldie about a year after we did. He came up to stay with us pretty much like 2 years ago and just like literally never left. Him and Chump were like actual brothers. When Chump wasn't overseas snowboarding, they would hunt waves and dive together pretty much every day. We were all literally just the most frothing people on the planet, I would say. Without sounding lame, I was just always like, shit, like we are so lucky. I literally don't know how many times a day Chump and I would look at each other and be like, fuck, this is the best. Like I am so happy right now. So yes, fast forward, living the dream, trying for a baby and everything, all of 2020 and like the end of 2019, I would say. Shit went very far south last July. Chumpy actually, we woke up one morning on the 8th of July and we had a beautiful morning in bed together because my friend, thank goodness, cancelled training that morning. So I just slept in with Chump and it was such a stunning morning. Chumpy decided to go diving that day. He looked out the window. It was such a beautiful day. He was like, do I go surfing or do I go diving? And I was like, fuck, I don't know. Do what you want to do. It just looks amazing. Just get out there. Like, just do whatever. And I went for this big, long walk. Chump literally just didn't come back that day. He had a shallow water blackout under the ocean, which is common for experienced divers if you hold your breath for ages. You kind of lose track of the time down there and you don't realise you need to come up for air. So, yeah, you can pass out down there and if you have a weight belt on, you're not going to float, so you sink. I remember when I was walking with Rummy, I was on this big walk and I like felt this absolute heartache in my chest and I thought I was having an anxiety attack. We had friends coming up to stay that afternoon from Sydney and I was like, oh, I must just be really stressed because I've got to like cook and clean and we've got people staying. And I was like, this is so weird. What's
Who
this?
was it?
We had Beth and Tully coming up and we had Maya and Ellie and everything coming up.
Yeah.
And it was like Tiana's 30th on the weekend. And it was just like
that's right.
a big week. And So I remember feeling this like really crazy feeling in my heart, but obviously just being like, oh, like get over it. Just go home and, you know, cook and clean and you'll be right. It was just a feeling I'd never felt before. Anyway, I can obviously, like it's a long story. That day, maybe one day we'll go into it because it is kind of therapeutic.
Yeah.
But yes, so that day I got home from that walk and it kind of all eventuated that Chump had literally passed away, which is I just don't even know how to even say that word. I've just turned 29 and I'm just kind of navigating life alone with my dog in our house that we kind of dreamed of together and built together. It's come up to the 1 year mark, which is so crazy and surreal. I truly it literally feels like yesterday. Like
I still remember that text message from you.
Oh, yeah.
What did it say again?
I don't know. I can't.
We can't.
I think they were like, oh, you need to tell people this is about to be on the news. And I was like, what the fuck? I'd just spoken to Chump's family and stuff. But yeah, I miss him. I want him back. Like he traveled the world snowboarding, so I'm so used to him being away that I kind of have just gone into complete autopilot, and people like are always looking at me like, oh, how are you so strong? Like you're amazing. You get up every day and you do everything. And I'm like, I truly just feel like a robot. Like and like I'm so weird with my emotions, like, and I've always been like this. And something really bad happens, I like will come out with weird emotions, like I'll randomly laugh or something. Like sometimes like it's so weird, like
it's
sometimes
opposite.
Yeah, I don't know if it's opposites. Like sometimes I'll be driving and I'll be maybe like listening to Chumpy's music or something. I'll be driving along and I'll be like screaming and crying, but then something else really hectic, like a trigger will happen that's like really bad, and it's like I'm
sure that's a thing.
I'm sure that's a thing. Like I reckon it's called something like I'll go into his music room and have like a moment with like his guitars, and it triggers me that I see them like catching dust and shit like that. Like he plays them every day, he cleans them every day. He's like a fucking perfectionist, and I'll just like start laughing randomly as a protective mechanism instead of like crying.
Yourself, yeah. Putting that guard up for yourself.
Yeah. So I guess coming up to the year mark, I'm like waiting for the shock to wear off and it to get a bit more real, and it definitely has started to do that. Everyone says like the year mark and after that is where it gets kind of worse. I kind of just love the robot stage because most of the time I'm just like literally on autopilot and just don't even know what's going on, and also used to him being away and everything. So I truly am just I just can't believe he's not about to walk in the door any day. Like I go to text him, I go to call him still. I just feel like he's about to walk in the door. So, I want, there's so many little bits of grief that we can unpick and unravel. There's so many widows out there. I've got so many widows online that I talk to, and I want to talk to that and make them feel heard. So I just want to make them feel like they are not alone with a profound loss like this. There's lots of secondary losses, like you might have been wanting to have babies, travel, everything that you and your partner were going to accomplish together. Personally, I feel like I haven't even hit the sadness for myself yet. I just feel like a deep sadness for Chumpy and what he's missing out on and what he was going to accomplish, because he was such a talented person that had so much like ahead of him.
I think a lot of us as well, when we look at you, we feel that for you, but we don't think about that secondary sort of loss. I haven't really actually considered that until you say that, and that's really fucking sad.
Yeah, like I just feel like I don't know what the fuck I was going to do with my life, but he knew what he was going to do. Like he had so much to offer the world, and he was only 32. Like he had like nearly 70 more years of, shit to do, and he was such a role model and helped so many people. And although apparently he's in like a higher place, serving a purpose up there, like doing bigger and better things apparently.
Yeah, but like,
you know what people say, but selfishly I just want him here.
Oh, 100%. That's just like, I don't know. I don't think that, I know
I know
that
we
people
always
say
try
that,
and make,
but it's
but we always try and create like silver linings and things that the things people say to widows and stuff. I just, I want to
everything
create a
happens for
space.
a reason, but no.
Everything does not happen for a reason,
bullshit.
and there's no reason that shit happens to people. It's absolutely just not fair. I think that's actually where I'm at. I get really angry lately more than I do sad. I'm actually just like, why him? Why me? Why? Like,
and I feel like as well, you do see these things on the news or you see these things on social media up until now, and you just like think, yeah, that's really, really sad. But like until you think this is never going to happen to myself or anyone that I know, it's like it happens, but it's not happening until it happens to you, and you're like, holy shit, this. You know what I mean?
Literally the unthinkable happens. Like when you hear about a young person dying on the news, my heart absolutely breaks, and I will start crying when I hear that. You just never, ever, ever think that will be you. You never think you'll be on the end of a call answering that or rocking up to a scene where that happens or something. And it took me, like, I still don't believe it. Like I still am like.
I don't believe it. I still wake up often days and I'm just, you expect to go to your house and like you said, you walk in his door and you expect him to be at the kitchen making me a coffee.
Yeah, and I love it when people come over and they're like, I feel him in here. And I'm like, I think that's why I think he's here or coming here, because he's fucking in my house. His aura is
you're
so
never
there.
leaving that house.
No, I'm never leaving our house. It's literally our dream house.
Little Chumparelli.
Little Chumparelli, we miss you so much. Yeah, there's just truly no words. But here I am, still standing.
The strongest woman I know. You're an inspiration to me every day. I honestly call Ellidy crying sometimes, and I'm like,
no,
like, I it's sad now, but I'm like, I have these days. What the? I have these days that I call you. I'm like, tell you my problems.
No, but you actually have problems, you know, like when people don't call me anymore with shit.
I get off the phone and I'm like, wow, why did I just have that cry to Ellidy when she's just lost her human?
You have big things happening that, you know, and I'm with you on every but
you just don't feel like your loss is like
you can't really compare things that happen, but yeah, like if fucking one of the girls wanted to call me and tell me that, like, I don't know, they got fired or their nail broke or something, I'd just be like, get fucked, that's not a problem. Like, fully. I don't know, you know, like, no one does come to me.
You really have time to evaluate. Like, I think that, like, the people that we are now, and more so you, compared to the people that we were a year ago, there's no comparison. Like,
it's like
we've
slapped
learned
everyone in the face.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a reality check for everyone. Like, life's short, you just don't know what the fuck's going to happen tomorrow. Yeah. And we're here now, and truly my family and Chloe and Lizzo and everyone around me, I really don't know what I would do without them.
I mean, at times I feel like you have carried us through this, which is so wrong.
I feel like it's a shock mechanism.
Like, oh man, I
literally remember that day, like, everyone was at my house, obviously,
walking
that
around
afternoon.
like zombies.
Yeah, and I was such a zombie, but
Ellidy starts making margaritas for us.
Because people were there, and I was like, oh, people are over. Like, do you guys want to drink? What do you want to do? Like, I didn't realize the vortex that I was in. And then I feel like we also forgot as well for a minute. We all started getting a bit drunk, and then all of a sudden you'd like go, hang on. Like, I just truly had no idea. Like, I kept thinking, he's probably just gotten bitten by a shark. He's missing an arm or a hand, and he's probably just in hospital. Like, he'll be back soon. Like, I just had no. I still fucking don't know what's going on. But I fucking just wish he could come back.
Yeah, me too.
And I still can't believe he can't.
Anyway,
I'm still standing. There's going to be lots and lots of nooks and crannies that we can get into, deep dive into parts of grief that I just really hope will help other people suffering profound loss out there. You are not alone. I am with you. You can be a weirdo with me and come on my journey. I honestly, there's no rules. There's no guidebook. I wish there was. There's not a checklist of things, and you get to that acceptance phase and you're like, cool, done. Yeah, no. Brush yourself off and go about your life. It's not like that. It's going to be with us forever. I don't think I'll ever be able to accept this, although they say you do. I just don't understand how at this point you're never alone. I am here and nothing is off limits here. So shout out to Chump. I love you so much.
Yeah, little Chump.
Oh, and I'm using Chump's microphone. Chloe was going to buy me a mic, but then you went in Chump's studio and found this like pretty much brand new microphone.
I knew that he would have something like this in there. I was just because I said to Ellidy thousands of times, I'm like, get in his studio and see what you can find. Like,
and
you just don't know.
And
so I was just like, fine, okay, got there, and I started just like digging through boxes, and this one was literally wrapped in gold paper in its box, in its packet, and I was like, oh my God, look at this gold microphone. It's just meant to be.
His shit so
it looks way more fancy than my mic, but you're allowed to be the fancy one. I'll let you have
Chumpo.
that one.
Maybe it was him. He wanted us to start our little potty, so he gave me this mic. He wanted you to find it for me. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Chumpo. We love you so much.
We got there in the end.
We got there in the end. Thank you guys for listening. We love and miss you, Chump, so much. And we are excited to have gotten through episode 1 and to have you guys coming along on our journey with us.
So if you made it all the way, congratulations. We are so excited to have you here and bring on episode 2. I'm going to be talking about mine and Paul's IVF journey. I know on social media I said that I wanted to keep my journey quite quiet because after the first failing round, it was pretty intense, and although I like talking about it on social media, it was just like a lot that I needed to kind of deal with myself before I kind of put it out there to the world. So a lot has happened between now and then, and I am going to share that with you guys, and that will be episode 2. Can't wait.
Yay. Oh, also you can find us on Instagram at darlingshine.podcast.
And if you have any questions for me next episode, you can email us at hello@darlingshine.com.
Yes, or just DM, whatever. Can they just DM?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can just do whatever they want. All right, stunning. Well, we'll see you guys next week.